You're welcome. Okay, let's touch a little of this discussion that we missed yesterday because of poor network, and that is on stomach ulcers. But before let me quickly share it. And so let's talk. Veronica and Nudu. You are welcome. So let's talk on the stomach ulcer issue because we missed it yesterday due to poor network. Stomach ulcer, yes. There are different types of ulcers, but the one that seems to be most common is the stomach ulcer. Veronica, hi mama. Your teachings are very nice. Please keep it up. God's blessings. Okay, thank you. That's quite encouraging. I appreciate you for that, my friend Veronica. So I want to talk on stomach ulcer. And the stomach ulcer is something I like to talk about because it was one of the first things that actually worried me or attacked me, or rather that I was exposed to. Yes, and got healed through natural foods. And another reason why I like to talk a lot about stomach ulcer is so common these days. You see a lot of people complaining of stomach ulcer. And there are also so many notions, I call it wrong notions about stomach ulcer, such as it doesn't go away, it doesn't heal, it's caused by too much peppers, it's caused by too fasting. A lot of notions, which is why I like always to talk about it, to correct some of them, because these are some of the things I like to talk about here. I want to share some of the foods that helped me heal and still keeping me healed, because it's been over 15 years since I got healed of it, and I have remained healed. Because a lot of people are saying it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away because you are not properly educated. You don't know how to keep yourself healed. You don't know the foods, what actually healed you, and how to keep it up. And so what exactly is ulcer? I want to talk about it here. And who are those at risk of stomach ulcers? Then number 3 I want to talk about is the symptoms of stomach ulcers. I want to talk about it also right now. And then finally, complications. Not really finally. I like to also highlight a little of the complications so that you don't take ulcer for granted as just one of those common ailments. And then the last is the foods that you should avoid. And then last is the foods that helps you heal. And I want to make this live not too long anyway. So, if I'm not able to round it up, these highlights, I may have to do another conclusion tomorrow or during the week. But have it in your mind that these are the highlights I want to point out today under the subject of stomach ulcer. I am Grace Enemali, and where we are is Healthy Food Place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. And what do I do here? I share my own experience, those things that are working for me, helping me stay healthy all through the year, without over-the-counter medications, without those medications either for stomach ulcer, blood pressure, blood sugar, and all the things that, trouble the elderly, the seniors, I call it the seniors. And so if you're interested, you need to also be here or share it to someone if you know someone that you think can benefit from it. Now, ulcer actually is a wound. It can happen around your mouth. It can happen on the leg, something like foot ulcers. It's common among diabetics. Then we have the stomach ulcer, and even in the stomach ulcer, we still have different locations. Peptic ulcer, gastric ulcer, duodenal ulcer, different type of ulcer, depending on where it's located. But the common thing is that it's a wound. And yes, Ugochukwu, when you're welcome to, it's a wound. Okereke, you're welcome. And Okereke, you're welcome. So it's a wound and you don't know where it's located in your stomach, but where you are feeling the pain. Yes. Now, there are a lot of notions also about the stomach ulcer issue. People say it doesn't ever go away. Some people say milk can heal stomach ulcer. Is okay. These are wrong notions. Some people say fasting is the cause of stomach ulcer. You need to eat lots of food. We did all of that. I did too. Eat all the time so that you won't have ulcer. It's also a myth and it's wrong, because it's not about what you're eating all the time. It's about what you're eating, the content of what you're eating, whether your body needs it or you're eating right. If you're eating all the time and you're not eating right, you will even create more room. Suppose you're eating all the time and what you're having is acidic foods, it's going to create more room for ulcer. Are you aware also that some ulcer, some of the things a lot of people are calling ulcer are merely, acidic buildup, acid buildup. This I can tell you for free. And they say, no, I can't have lemon juice. I can't have lime juice. I can't have this food. A lot of healthy foods people are ignorantly avoiding because they have been taught or been made to believe that it is acidic. And whereas it is their own body that is acidic. And so when they bring in the healthy foods like lemon juice to alkaline their body, lemon pills, they say no, they can't have it. You go through my session, my comment section. That is one of the things that actually necessitated this subject, the topic that I'm talking about. A lot of people are saying, commenting under the comment, say, can ulcer person take it? You talk of a healthy food. A lot of people are saying, can ulcer person take it? Then I thought it's time to talk about this ulcer thing, even if I had talked a little on it before. Let's talk it about again, because some of you are going about with stomach ulcers unknown to you, whereas some that don't even have the real ulcer wound are going about avoiding healthy foods, claiming that they are having stomach ulcers. And so, having known the meaning, of course, we know that there are various things that can cause ulcer. I want to talk of the common causes. I didn't talk about on the highlight, but let me also talk it, because if you don't know the cause of your problem, it's difficult to solve it. Now, a lot of things can cause you to have stomach ulcer or to be at risk. Like, let me put this subject under those at risk. Yes, this subject of the causes, those at risk. Now, if you are at risk, if you are consuming too much of caffeinated teas, black teas, green tea frequently, coffee, you are at risk of stomach ulcer. It doesn't matter your age. There are those that are by age. Now, if you are always taking antibiotics, yes, any little thing. I was doing that. It contributed to my own ulcer too when I had it. Now, if you're always taking antibiotics, in less than 3 months or 6 months, you have run to go and take antibiotics. Why? Because you want to kill typhoid, because you want to treat one infection or the other. You are also creating a good ground for stomach ulcer. Why? Or how? Because these antibiotics, they kill both the good and the bad. Look at me. I was a victim of too much antibiotics, but I tell you, for the past 15 years, I have not had any antibiotics. I'm talking of over-the-counter antibiotics to kill off typhoid, as I used to do then, to kill off bacteria, as I used to do. Why? Because I have discovered there are so many foods in our environment, very cheap, very easy for you to access, that can kill off parasite, and not just killing them off. Because the issue about dealing with parasites is not about killing them off. The wrong notion is that we are at war with bacteria. And since that war began, we think we can win. We have never won. And I tell you, we may never win because the bacteria are resident right inside of us. They are resident in your mouth. Look at this little region we call our mouth. It's harboring millions. And that's why I encourage people to keep their oral health healthy, especially seniors. We'll talk about it on another day, about the dangers of not taking good care of your oral health. If you're in that habit, you need to stop it. It's not the topic for today, but millions of bacteria, some that can cause, mouth ulcers, they are living right in your mouth. Then other bacteria can also cause ulcers. Research has said that some form of ulcer, like peptic ulcers, are caused by some, bacteria. You know what I'm talking about. Plant-based. Black man, you're welcome. Blessings from America. You're welcome, my dear. You're welcome. You're welcome. Highly welcome to the house. And so a lot of people are complaining of stomach ulcers, and there are so many misinformation and wrong notions about it. That's why I said I want to be here again and talk about it. Because it's either you don't have the ulcer and you're claiming you have it, or you have it and don't know that you even have it. Because a lot of people are moving about with the wound, and they may not know until there is a certain crisis. This is caused by other food. Either you ate fried food or something, and then boom, it strikes. Then that was what happened to me, actually. And then you now realize, Chris Olua to me say, you're welcome to the house. And now you quickly realize that there had already been a wound there all the while, but you didn't know. Not because of fasting, not because of you're not eating or whatever, but because of some habits, which I shall also be sharing in the course of this life. I already made a highlight. So if you are consuming too much antibiotics all the time, you already created the environment for and made yourself susceptible to stomach ulcer. And it's even possible the ulcer is already there without your knowing. Now, if you are not consuming fermented foods, you're always consuming things like white pastas, you are also at risk of stomach ulcer. I was a victim of this particular point when I had my own ulcer about over 15 years ago, and it's gone and gone forever. Now, I was always consuming things like bread, pastas, all this ready-to-eat breakfast. A good number of them high in sugar. Trans fats, they were most of the things I was consuming from supermarkets. So if you are in that habit, consuming all the time processed foods, you never ever consider including fermented millet from a good yogurt in your diet. Fermented to boost your gut bacteria. Any fermented food, you do not include it. You don't consider it. My dear, you are at risk of stomach ulcer. And if you are always consuming acidic foods, now, this particular point, a lot of you may want to argue with it, but that's where a good number of people are staying, because they are having too much of acidic buildup. And because of the acidic buildup, nutrients are no longer getting to the cells. Nutrients are no longer getting to the cells because of the acid balance. They have lost the internal balance in terms of pH. And so, because of that loss of balance, the bacteria are now in control. They are in charge. Let me put it that way. And because they are in charge, sometimes they start to eat up. They start to do havoc. They can wreak havoc on your intestine. Because of what? Because they have overgrown the healthy gut bacteria. Now, the bacteria are there to help you digest your food. So if you are feeding your gut with sugary drinks, carbonated drinks, if you are feeding your gut with mostly processed foods unhealthy fats. If you're feeding your food, your body with most foods full of flavors, fried foods, my dear, it may be that you already have a wound. And what does that mean? It may mean that the unhealthy bacteria which you are feeding with sugars, which you are feeding with processed foods, they are already taking over your gut. Sometimes you may even be hearing your gut crying out for help, making the like struggling, no acid production, no hydrochloric acid to digest your food. So when you eat, the food is giving problem. Why? Because the cells are blocked, are cut off completely. You've lost the balance. And because the balance is not there anymore, your food cannot be digested. What do I mean by the balance? The balance is the acid balance and the alkaline balance. You've lost it in favor of, you have lost it in favor of the acidic balance. And not only have you lost it, you continue to feed it by taking sugary drinks, carbonated drinks, flavored foods, trans fats, unhealthy fats, no fermented foods. Okay, let me also throw a light on fermented foods. A lot of you may be assume an examples of fermented food, because some may be coming to ask this question. Yes, Philo Ogbene, you're welcome. Good afternoon, ma. Happy, so you're welcome to the house. I welcome you all, and just stay tuned. So what I'm saying is that a lot of you may want to come and ask, Mama, what is fermented foods? And where do we find it? They're all with you there. Fermented foods are foods that you have kept to stay for 2 or 3 nights, and bacteria act on it. Foods like yogurt, but not the sugary yogurt you see around. And a good number of these foods, when they are eaten, because they have stayed for 2 or 3 nights, they are not ready to eat food. It took days to get them ready for the bacteria to act on them. As a matter of fact, several years when I was trying to find out about this fermentation of food, I found out that it was even discovered by accident. But that's not what we are going to be talking about. When something fell and left for days unconsciously, and later to find out that it's even having another nutrient, it's easier to digest, and so many things like that. So a lot of wonderful things we enjoy. Thank you, Marilyn Anderson. You're welcome to the house. I appreciate you. We're all welcome. So they continued to test on it and discovered that it's even something, other bacteria, healthy bacteria have been introduced to the food. And because of that, more and more foods are being fermented. Foods like cabbage, foods like milk are being fermented for easier digestibility. Foods like grains, corn, which we make like pap, fermenting even all kinds of vegetables, fermenting millet, sorghum bicolor. These are examples. Fermenting seeds like the iru, the ogiri, uba, even the what do they call it? The castor oil seed is also fermented to add to our meals. So different type of seeds are fermented. Foods are fermented, kept for days. So it's not something you even ferment things like papaya fruit, unripe papaya fruit for healing of stomach ulcer, which you can find in my channel if you go to my channel. Yes, okay, I will talk about it. Let me quickly highlight these things. Because if you are a subscriber, you will see things about cholesterol. I've talked a lot about cholesterol. So let's talk a little about this subject, because the questions and comments are always coming up about. And if you are a CEO and you are managing, or you are always saying, I have stomach ulcer, you need to also drop your comment so we can get to the root of that stomach ulcer. So a lot of, fermented foods are available, but many people are not consuming it. Why? Because it takes time to prepare. And after preparation, the fermentation, a good number of them, the smell changes. something like cassava root, what we call fufu, it's very gut friendly. It's a starchy food, but when fermented, it becomes more gut friendly because fermented foods are more easier to digest and absorb by our body. And so there are many foods, fermented millet, you can ferment a lot of things for better digestion. If you're having digestive issues, you can ferment many things, including vegetables. And so that is exactly what we mean by fermentation, and keeping it 2 days or 3 days. And then after that, you can use it. It was actually a preservation method before the refrigerators and all kinds of things were invented. Fermentation was the means of preservation. After that fermentation, that food can stay as long as possible if you have your eyes on it. So that is it. So, and the benefit of that fermentation is that it helps to support the healthy gut bacteria and support a healthy gut and healthy digestion. So if you have not been consuming fermented foods, you are at risk, my dear. You don't put them in your soup like iru, like condiment, ogiriwa. You don't ever take anything fermented, like fermented papaya fruit, green papaya for healing of stomach ulcers. You don't take anything like millet, pap. I didn't used to like pap, my dear. I'm not a pap person. All this pap thing, I don't like it, but not anymore. It's not as if but anytime it's part of my diet once in a while, because it has its own ugly side when you take too much of it. So that is one of the things that can also put you at risk. So if you have not been taking it for you and your family, your children, occasionally take it, my dear. If you are not including fermented food, you may have some constipation that, in short, let me just explain it this way. There are some constipations that will never go away until you consume fermented foods, like fermented millets, fermented sorghum, ogibaba, or stuff. That is how one of the ways I check my healing and ensure that I don't have a repeat of the stomach ulcer case that I had many years ago. Occasional fermented foods. When you are going through some constipation and your stomach, most times you have lost your balance. Let me put it that way. So the only way you take fruit, you take this, it's not glutenin. You take all kinds of medications and combos to help relieve your intestine, and it's not, the constipation is there, remains there. My dear, it may be that it's time to go for fermented foods. That's what I do. Practically, that's how I live. When I experience constipation and it's lingering, I go for fermented foods, because I've told you before, I'm not a pap person. I don't like pap. I don't like all those. I consider them like baby foods, things for teaching someone to eat, or for sick persons. Michael, Rita, you're welcome. Madeline, I say hi to you. Anderson, I welcome you all. Just stay tuned, please. So because I'm not a pap person, as a senior, I don't have to be consuming only what I love, what I crave for. I have to eat for my health, and that is what should apply to all the seniors. If you are a senior here, you're watching me. So you have to occasionally go for fermented foods, but you don't also have to take the fermented food as a daily food, because it has its own ugly sides. Honestly, it has its own, because they are all high in carbohydrates. So they are all inflammatory too. All the, especially the grains. And so these are some of the things that can predispose you to have stomach ulcer. Even there are some other things. I've talked about caffeine, too much caffeine. I see a lot of people saying they are mixing black tea with lemon to lose fat, to burn fat. It is what has landed a lot of people in big trouble, such as stomach ulcers. they want to burn fat. It was even my case then. I was trying to burn fat the wrong way. A lot of people are still doing it, even seniors. And if you're a senior, you're trying to lose fat, don't go the way of caffeinated teas, because it's going to hurt your intestine. It's going to erode the delicate walls of your intestine. And if care is not taken, it can create a wound. Why are the ulcers, stomach ulcers, wounds so common these days? It's because of these habits. We don't have sufficient protein in our diet. It's another thing that can put you at risk. Insufficient protein buffer. So when the gut health is not protected, when you don't have sufficient protein, including for little children, you are giving your child, yes, Michael, you're welcome. How do I clean my gut and colon naturally? We will talk about it, my dear. But just give me a few seconds. I will round up and address your questions briefly. So, and one of the ways to clean your gut, okay, one of the ways also to clean your gut include occasional fermented foods. It's good for you. If you want to clean your fermented foods like cabbage, you can ferment it or even take it like that. It's going to help to clean your gut. Clean your gut is also one of the ways. I mean, it's very easy also. If you are following some of these steps, your gut will remain clean, including raw foods and raw vegetables. Most of the time, it's going to help you to kill off some parasites and keep your gut health clean with water therapy every morning. Lots of water and lemon juice. Remember, it's this same lemon juice. A lot of you, when you are told occasional lemon, no. Can an ulcer person take it? Take this? No, take apple to clean your gut. No, can an ulcer person take it? Take occasional this to. It is why we're talking about the ulcer. So I want you to just pay attention. So you may be having it because of some of these things that I have mentioned. You are not consuming a lot of fermented foods. You are not taking protein seriously in your diet. You're not having enough. A good number of us are not having enough. So the unhealthy bacteria, sugars create unhealthy environment for the bacteria to thrive. And sometimes they can even injure us. Injured intestine, because they are scavenging for food and the stomach is, yes, who is that? Thanks for this advice. What is your profession? I am a caregiver and I'm also a wellness coach. But professionally, as someone, I read management at higher school, office management, if you want to know, yes. But I also have been into this for more than 16 years, helping people after I was helped. I don't want to say after I healed myself, because I was actually helped. At the time, I was healed of stomach ulcer and I stopped antibiotics for more than 15 years and all the over-the-counter drugs, including multivitamins. I'm not on any, including managing for blood sugar, blood pressure. I don't take. Why? Because of the secrets, and I'm sharing with you. But then, when the years of ignorance was there is hardly 2 months that I will not take one antibiotics or the other, trying to eliminate the bacteria, which will always come back. Why? Because that is their abode, their natural habitat. Now, before I miss out on this point, one of the biggest mistakes this generation has made and is still making is the mistake of trying to destroy all the bacteria. And it is that effort in trying to destroy all the bacteria that has made us created environment for too much cases of stomach ulcers. It is that effort trying to take antibiotics to destroy all of the bacteria that has made us destroy both the good bacteria and the bad. And so the stomach is unprotected. The walls are left